You had me fucking going there.
Get the
When
fuck
I want
out
a
of
fucking
here.
half.
Are you serious right now?
Yes.
Forget about it. I don't believe that shit. What a Jamocha shake.
Those are pretty good. I like Jamocha shakes.
Fucking Arby's over here.
They're tasty.
Hey, Don Frappuccino. You're always cool.
Get caramel latte and the boys over there. They'll take care of it.
You're a very sweet man, but you're blended.
That's horrible.
I don't know. Hey, internet.
You fucking
That's how we
Internet over
That's
here.
how we awkwardly start podcasts.
Hey, you fucking Jamocha shakes, get
Yeah.
over here.
Hey.
Over here, over here.
Where?
Over here, over here.
Oh.
The dream of the 90s is still alive at this corner of the table with another deep dose of Crystal Pepsi.
A deep dose, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm gonna
Dose of
retweet that.
Ooh.
Join us, Richie. Oh, look at this hot content. We are just dropping content left and right.
We will be demonstrating our impressions. Phones on vibrate.
We should all turn our ringtones back on.
Whoa.
Hey, whoa,
Oh, we gotta edit.
whoa.
Talk about how he enters the room.
Hey.
Man, that fired up fast this week.
Is that Richie?
Yeah.
Did they upgrade YouTube?
Gino
Fucking
Fulano.
They upgrade YouTube.
They upgraded me. Did you upgrade YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube.
Ah.
Hey, welcome, Buccaneer Bruce.
Hey, Buccaneer Bruce. How are you?
Man, he's got the Pete the Pirate helmet and everything.
Yeah.
Love it.
He's.
Old school Bucks.
Are you in Tampa?
Are you at a strip club right now?
Hey.
Man, Loki's here already. Dropping trivia.
Man.
Loki had that one on the ready. Loki's like, they're going to be live soon. They're going to be live. Control V, Control V, Control V. Love it.
Hope you guys at home are wearing your uniform.
What?
This fucking uniform?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa. Right.
over here.
Oh, look at this over here.
Shirts.
Yeah.
We're wearing shirts.
We are wearing
Shirts about us.
Aren't
and
you happy
Steve James
that
and a
we are
robot.
wearing shirts?
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. We have uniforms.
Yep. It's the only time this will ever happen.
What, all of us wearing the same shirt at the
Yes.
same time?
It could happen again.
No.
Never say never.
Oh,
Chuck.
this fucking
We'll
slow
fight
internet
like it's
over here.
prom.
Oh.
Oh.
No, we won't.
Speed up, you fucking internet.
What's it doing?
Slowing the fuck down is what it's doing.
My balls.
Oh.
My
Bunch
balls.
of-
It's slower than my balls.
Bunch of Jamocha shakes, motherfucker. Bunch of Jim Jarmusch's over here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a common, in the parlance of our times.
Oh, yes.
Ghost dog.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of tweeting going on.
Hurry the fuck up, you piece of shit.
What do we do? How did we get this many people in here this fast? Oh, because we're a
He
little
spent
late.
money on Facebook is what he did.
No,
Well,
And
I
that
think
spilled over to our
I haven't
other
even
social
posted it on
medias.
Facebook yet. We're
no. I'm just saying we're kind of late. That's why.
gonna be hot to
Yeah,
trot.
we run.
People are like just
It was
like,
my fault.
We watched Hot to Trot?
I stalled us a little bit.
That we shouldn't watch Hot to Trot. That's a bad idea.
Publishing that motherfucker right there.
Oh!
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 hey-oh.
We could do the whole show like this.
No.
Hey, welcome
Please.
to fucking BMFcast, eh?
So then we hit play on the thing, and then
Here we are. Put a couple 2-3 there.
Bafangul.
Hey, don't talk about my mother that way.
Say hi to your mother.
Say hello to your mother for me.
grace of God, you know what I mean?
I do.
All right.
Bless her heart.
Oh.
Hey!
Hey! Oh.
Oh, this is what the shirts look like on people. It's so good. I'm so excited about this. So listen here. If you were lucky enough to pre-order one,
Yeah.
it's on the way, kind of. You know, couple days, 2-3 days, it'll be in the mail.
You might have
Be
a
at your
pretty good
house.
weekend. Pretty good
Yeah.
weekend.
You're gonna have one of these fine motherfuckers staring you right in the face. Slip it on your torso, shimmy around a little bit.
Head out to that preseason football game.
That's right.
One of these.
Catch on fire because it's black.
Actually, they're very light shirts.
They
The
are
sun
light,
goes
but still.
right through it.
Oh, sure.
You're going to get a great tan. And then your chest will have our logo burned into it.
That's what we were really going for.
We're trying to brand all of our
Yeah,
people.
Yes.
we got into branding. We just didn't really understand it. That's why it's metal. It's metallics.
Right.
Yep.
It's gonna heat the fuck up.
All a bunch of sizzle chests.
He's actually
Hey, sizzle chest.
over here. These actually look.
right here. Sizzle chest.
My name is Saul Rosenberg. It's tearing the ass out of me. No, they actually look really good in the sun. Also, they're nice and sparkly when you get them out in the sun.
Like vampires.
A little bit, little bit,
A little bit.
little bit.
Yeah. You want to play some
Smidge.
baseball in the rain in these shirts, my friend?
Yeah.
You can.
That's our gift to you.
Luckily, these do not, by their nature, attract wolves to you.
By nature.
That we know.
No
I mean,
guarantee.
we know.
No guarantee that they are wolf-proof.
So far.
However,
As my uncle used to say,
They will not-
caveat emptor.
they will not.
Oh, that was your uncle?
Yeah, you know.
Hey, I knew caveat emptor.
But really, science
We used to get a haircut at the same place down at 45th Street.
science thus far has proven that no one wearing this shirt has ever been attacked by a wolf.
So far.
100% correct.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the night's still young.
Grace of God, you know.
Money back guarantee. If a
If a wolf attacks you,
wolf
we
attacks
will
you.
refund you for your shirt.
wolf attacks you because of this shirt, and you're required to
Right.
prove
No.
that it is this
Someone
shirt.
has to prove.
Bearsuit Studios LLC is not responsible for any lupine attacks that may occur upon your person.
Right. We just think it ain't going to happen.
But you know what? Lupus ain't real.
Oh,
No.
wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait a
hold
minute.
on. Hold-
Lupus
whoa.
is real.
It's just
exists.
not
My
the
grandmother.
most common thing.
It's just never lupus.
Yes.
Until it is with my grandmother.
His
Rest
poor
her case.
grandmother.
Right.
Right.
Rest her case. Yes.
God rest her case.
God rest
Your
her
Honor.
defense.
Wait, your grandmother's a werewolf?
No, that was
she
never
wore-
proven.
I mean, she did have an eye for fashion. She did wear a wolf once, but
The whole
You never
werewolf.
fully dress until you're werewolf.
it was, it was,
It was the
it
old
was the
country.
style at the time.
The old country.
Yeah.
Werewolf.
They're a wolf.
Wait.
They're a castle.
Yeah. Nobody wearing this shirt has even died.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, we do not
Nope.
guarantee immortality.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, but 100% of us are still alive. that have worn this shirt.
100% immortality rate thus far.
Right.
Confirmed.
Signs point to okay.
Not bad.
All right, let's start this thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Light this fucking candle.
All right.
Huh?
Oh,
Can't guarantee that I'm not going to slip back into this like 5 minutes into the podcast.
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 Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fucking
Boston.
It's fucking podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked
Yeah.
awesome. Be a fucking wicked pisser.
Yeah.
Let's get some graphics up here. All right, and welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey! Oh, fucking BMFcast.
There it is.
Episode 339.
Nintendo.
A lot of fucking episodes, am I right?
Yes.
Why are you doing that accent?
I don't know. My name.
Yep, my name.
My name is.
What?
What? My name is. Yes.
Wiki, forget about it. We're fucking professionals,
Wow,
we
I
promise.
love how we all fell right into that, like immediately, like no hesitation whatsoever.
I'm going to need a minute.
Oh, this better go on the end of the episode at least.
Okay, then. Woo. I'm good now. Try this again. All right, and welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey,
BMFcast.
fucking BMFcast over here.
Episode 339.
It's a number.
It is. So I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And what we do each and every episode of the BMFcast is we go ahead and watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Come in here and talk about it for the first half. Then we rate them. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. We get 1 to 5 jockses and robot jocks.
Heck yes, Robot Jocks.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
there's a negative sliding scale. 1 to 5 bags as in douchebags after Twilight.
Boo.
That's for bad movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like it.
Stay away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did Out for Justice. It's Steven Seagal, man. 1991.
Yeah, it had been recommended by both Chase and Morgan in emails. They were like, hey, man, Out for Justice. Come on.
Yeah. Why haven't
Money in the
you
bank.
done this? So, plot summary. Out for Justice. Let's talk more about it. All right. Gino Foligno is a New York Police Department detective from Brooklyn who knows everyone and everything in his neighborhood. Killing his partner was someone's mistake because now he's out for justice.
Someone's mistake. Someone made a mistake.
That man was sorely mistaken.
Oops, I shot a cup. Whoops. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Was it perhaps Richie's mistake?
I think it might have been Richie's mistake.
Richie's mistake.
Yeah,
that was the
somewhat.
that's the alternate title for this movie. Richie's mistake.
It just didn't fit that 3-word thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Richie's big mistake, however. Yeah, it's Steven Seagal. So, I mean, it's part of the original quartet of Steven Seagal movies that were good. I mean, 5 if you include Under Siege, but that's like when they dropped the 3-word thing and
Yep.
it was a little more
Which
high
apparently
concept.
this had a different name, and the studio specifically made it a 3-word title.
Of course
you
they
go.
did.
Yeah.
It's not like Out for Justice doesn't apply. It
Oh,
totally
of course.
applies.
Yeah, but William Forsythe is Richie, whose name you get used to during this movie.
You will know his name is Richie.
Yeah. BMFcast alum of Stone
when he
Cold.
rains down his justice upon you.
Yes.
Of Stone Cold, and just like, all apologies to William Forsythe, but he's just one of those guys who looks like he was born looking like a piece of shit. Like just a sleazy piece of shit.
He's well cast in every role that he
Yeah.
has. We'll say that.
Has he ever played like a full-on good guy? Was he one of the good guys in The Rock? Wasn't he in The Rock?
Yeah,
He was in The Rock,
He
but-
was. He was one of the people
Yeah.
back home trying to
Right.
figure shit out. But he was still kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, that's just because you look at me like, I don't know about you.
Yeah.
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 But speaking of guys who always play the same guy, Jerry Orbach
Oh, okay. Yes.
is in this as well,
Yep.
playing a cop,
Yes.
Yeah, he's,
a man of the law.
I guess, the guy in charge. He just kind of keeps showing up so Steven Seagal can talk to him and go, you know.
What do you need? And
Well,
then
yeah.
Seagal will say, I need thing. And
I
he'll
don't know. I don't know.
you
But
go.
here you go.
Yeah.
He doesn't put up much of a fight.
No, there's no conflict there.
But, I mean, the movie opens, and we'll get to more people that are in the movie because there are some other recognizable people that pop out throughout this movie.
Yeah.
The movie opens up, and Steven Seagal in random partner, well, I guess it is the partner.
Yes.
Yeah, it is the partner that becomes the whole
Bobby.
crux of the movie. Bobby. Are on a stakeout, and they're waiting for some kind of big deal, some $3 million deal. They don't really talk about what it is, but he's a narcotics officer, so I'm assuming drug deal.
More than likely.
But he's watching an altercation happen between Pimp shows up and finds a wayward prostitute of his, and who hasn't been working, and he's just like, "Where's my money?" and all that, and it turns violent. And Steven Seagal's not going to have any of that.
Nope.
Yeah, and it's violent in a way that doesn't hold back like movies usually do.
No, it's
this,
like
this
closed
guy
fist
is
punching.
beating the shit out of this
Right.
woman. This stunt woman took a few hits during the filming of this scene.
Uh-huh.
So he basically blows the bus to go break this up, and it's just our first chance for him to, show off his Aikido, like, come at me, and as soon as he does, he gets his ass whipped. Now, he goes through one window of a car, I think a side window.
Yeah, he gets his head smashed through the passenger window.
Right. And then, like, they end up fighting up front, and
Yeah, he like tosses him over barrels. He's swinging him around by his tie
Yes.
and just chucks him over the barrels.
Yes.
But the final straw is basically the pimp's like, I know you, I know where you live, I'm coming for your family. When Steven Seagal's like, nah, pick you up over my head and like back body press
Yeah,
you.
he gave him the back body drop.
Yeah, like into like
The
the
pimp
windshield.
didn't know to stop and kick Steven Seagal in the face.
Right. But yeah, he goes through the windshield.
Yeah. He basically picks him up and throws him head first
Right.
through the goddamn windshield.
And we get this shot of like first we see just comical like Wizard of Oz like sticking out of the windshield of this car, and then it becomes inside where the guy's just and it's a shot of Steven Seagal, and that's when it freezes and goes Steven Seagal in, like that's the credit marker for the credits to start.
Yep.
And man, it's a pretty good shot. Like,
I specifically remembered that when Chase wrote the email. I was
Yeah.
like, yep.
yeah, I mean it's
The opening title card.
It's a mid,
sells
it's
this
a
movie.
mid freeze frame, like right here through this shot. Mm-hmm. Start the credits, and
It's what you want.
we don't really we get to see his home life a little bit first, right? Or no, I guess the cop goes to
it's
get
like
shot.
they have a incredibly brief conversation between him and his partner. He's like,
Right.
"Hey, everything going okay there?" And he's like, "Oh, just got some problems at home. Nothing to worry about."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Those
Seagal's like,
problems come home to roost.
Yeah.
Literally, the next scene where where his partner is going shopping with his family, and our friend Richie William Forsythe basically just walks up to him in the middle of a New York street and just shoots him in the chest like 6 times, and throws a picture on him and then shoots him again.
Did we see him smoking crack prior to this?
I don't
On the
believe
way.
so.
On the
Yeah,
way,
I think so.
I think so. I think it
Yeah.
was. I mean, it was very early on. Like he was twitchy, and you're like, okay, William Forsythe is crazy.
Yeah.
But then it's just like they pull over, and he's like, all right, I gotta prep or whatever. And it's like pulls out the crack pipe, and it's like, oh, all right, you're doing that, okay.
and his crew is just like, okay.
Yeah, and he just like middle of the street in front of a deli. Like the wife and the 2 kids have gone inside, and Bobby, the cop, is just like outside smoking, and he just walks up and blam blam blam, just pumps him full of lead, and then gives him a couple shots when he's on the ground as he's gurgling.
I suppose if I was going to whack a cop in broad daylight, I would like to have a few tokes of that
Crack
sweet
cocaine?
plasticky courage. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, that's
Yeah, I guess if you're building up to that.
yeah.
I mean,
If that's on your to-do
Really,
list, I guess.
life's over at that point.
I don't think there's any poor life decision that isn't made better by smoking crack beforehand.
Well, like,
Those are words of wisdom right there.
right, you're going to whack a cop. That means, well, like, either your life is going somewhere really crazy or it's over soon.
Yeah.
So
crack up.
might as
Crack
well,
it up.
Yeah, might as well crank up and crack up.
Totally.
Or crank up, then crack up. I don't care what you do.
Yeah, it's
But-
like scheduling a meeting underneath an overpass. It's like nothing good's going to come of this,
Yeah.
but what the hell?
Might as well have some crack.
Might as well.
Might as well have some crack.
That's their new campaign.
Yeah, 'cause they drive off.
That's
and-
always been the campaign of crack.
Might as well
Always.
go get some crack cocaine. whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, they drive off and park under an overpass, and
Yep.
he's just like, "Man, I did that," and his crew's just like, "Yeah, you did. Well, that was probably not a good
his crew
idea."
is like completely not really on board with it, but you can tell they're afraid of him.
yeah,
There's an important piece to it. Like he throws down a Polaroid as he's walking
Yeah.
away, and the wife, kind of sees this from the window and is just screaming and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
she's screaming like not touching him, and like no one else is helping either. It's just like he might still be alive.
Nope,
no,
dead.
all right. But
but yeah, so they're parked under an overpass, and this
yeah.
other car pulls up and is just like honking, like, "Get out of the way," and he's just like, "Oh yeah," and goes over and pulls this lady out of the driver's side window and shoots her in the head.
Yeah.
Now, no one goes out for justice for her,
No. She gets mentioned, at least.
the true innocent victim of this film.
well, she gets mentioned in like, yeah, he killed a cop, and also he just turned psycho
some
and killing
lady.
everybody.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and then they just ditch the car.
yep,
They leave it right there.
They're like, "Dude,
they just
bail."
leave it.
They're like, we're just going to walk from here. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
That's a bad decision. That was a sweet red, bright ass red IROC.
Yeah.
Yep. So then they cut to Steven Seagal hanging out at home in his vest with his son. He's like,
He walks out like he's just taking a shower, but he's just in his Seagal bullshit.
yeah, and his kid's doing his homework, and he's like, the kid's like, I want to go outside and play ball, and he's like, all right, well,
Did you do your homework? Nah.
yeah, he's doing his
All right.
and I gotta say, he's doing like the worst Italian accent throughout this movie. Like,
Yeah.
we just have to get it out of the way now.
Yes.
It is like every bad Italian accent you've seen someone do, like exaggerated on Saturday Night Live type Italian accent. That's what he's doing throughout this entire movie.
It comes and goes a couple times. It gets really weird at times on certain words.
but
it's
His
bad.
accent's worse when he's speaking Italian.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
He attempts to speak both Italian and Spanish in this, and it's just half of it is just like bleh.
But
And
yeah,
the subtitles are there to tell you if he could act, it would be this is what he would be saying.
It'd be funny if it had like little parentheticals like this, if he could act.
Yes, the subtitle man went rogue.
but the kid, he's like, all right, let's go outside and throw the freaking ball.
Just throw the ball around.
Yeah. And as they're going outside, I'm like, oh man, we're actually going to get to see Steven Seagal try to throw something with those flappy arms. But no, he gets the phone call that his partner's been killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's immediately like, call soon to be ex-wife.
Yeah.
You know, come get the kid. She's like, oh, you and your job. And he's like, yeah, but Bobby got shot. She's like, oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
okay.
because she was
bring the
about
kid.
to wet blanket him for
Oh.
having a job
Yeah.
that doesn't allow him to be with his family at all times. Because it's the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because everyone married cops without knowing what cops did.
Yeah.
And then 6 months into it, they're like, ew, you're a cop. You're never here. Yeah. It's like, where were you when we were dating, lady? But
Yeah. But so he has
Movie-wise.
to go find out everything.
yeah, he goes in Jerry Orbach's and
Yeah. Well, and he brings like the wife and the kid with him, or no, she meets him at the crime scene.
yeah, they show up.
And that's where they're kind of like
That's-
having the disagreement about it. And he's like, "Listen,
That's
my
the kid
best friend just got friggin' shot.
Yep.
He's friggin' dead over here."
Yeah. She's like, all right, put you people in a car and get out of here. Then, Jerry Orbach's like, what do you need? And he's like, I need a shotgun.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's also
An
wearing
unmarked
a
and a shotgun.
Yes.
Yep. And he's also wearing a black beret for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
With some sort of badge on it. I
Yeah.
wish I could have seen what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's a guardian angel, but just,
No, that would have been a red beret.
I know.
Come on, get it right,
I
Chuck.
said that's why I said it's like
Maybe
he's
a
guardian
raspberry
angel.
free.
Yep, maybe.
No.
But yeah, so he asks for kind of a ridiculous, like, oh, you're going to go vigilanteing? And Jerry Orbach's like, yeah, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a shotgun and a comically large box of shells.
Yes.
I love that for once that the police are like, "Hey, don't do it, man. Don't go after him." Don't do it. He's like, "Nah, man. You're
Yeah.
Steven Seagal. Let's.
Do what you do.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to try
I'm
to
not gonna-
find him first.
I'm not
but-
going to fight this."
His explanation that gets him the gun is basically like, I know these streets better than anybody. I grew up here. I know these people. I used to run into these people. He's like, you make good points.
Yeah. Here you go. Murder them all.
You're a loose cannon, but you're a straight shooter.
You get results. Yeah, so I mean, it's basically like he has to go and not apologize, but he has to go meet with the local mafia types, and they're like, "This kind of thing doesn't happen here. No one kills an innocent man." Now, no one says anything about the innocent lady, but
Yeah.
everyone's like, "This innocent man who died on our street, that won't fly."
No.
And let us take care of it. It's our way. And Seagal's like, it's my way too.
Well, he's basically like, if if I get to him, I respect you, but if I get to him first,
Yeah.
you know what I'm going to
It's a
do.
race to the finish.
And he's like, yeah, I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
We'll find him first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And half that conversation is in Italian.
Italian.
Yeah.
One guy is speaking Italian.
Yeah. The other guy
the
is
other is
Steven
Steven
Seagal. Yep.
Yep.
But from here, there's a lot of they go to a lot of the same places multiple times.
Yes, they do. And this pretty much takes place over the course of one day. It doesn't seem like it does, but it does.
Well, apparently, in editing, Steven Seagal changed the movie quite a bit because
sure
he was
he
one of the
did.
producers, and so that's why coming up we'll have a very long montage of stuff that looks like regular scenes, but apparently was edited way down because he felt like William Forsythe was taking over the picture and that he wasn't the main star. Which makes sense because this is Steven Seagal,
yeah.
who is basically a notorious dick
Yes.
and has been for his entire career.
This was the tail end of him not taking orders from film people.
Well, and the strange thing is like this is 1991. I mean, so you assume they were filming it in 90. That's usually how it
Yeah.
works. Batman had come out by now. People should have started to realize you have a strong villain that makes your hero stronger. Like, I mean, we'd made that turn. Like
Yeah,
Nicholson
but
he's bad
overacting
at
in the
that.
Joker.
This kind of stuff does not work with Steven Seagal.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, I think they would have been like, hey, that movie that made like $1 billion last year. You know why that worked? We let the bad guy be crazy. And
Well, that's why I
Good scene.
audibly gasped in that one fight scene where he got hit once. I was like, holy shit. Like, no way did I ever expect that to happen.
Yeah, you rarely see weakness out
Yeah.
of him.
Like one guy actually got the drop on him and hit him in the shin, and it was just like, woo.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the bar scene, right?
Yes.
When he went to his knees.
Yes.
That's just to show that he could kick everybody's ass from his knees.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Well, I also thought about it. I think that guy was probably significantly shorter than him, and it was probably easier to be at basically the same height. No, I mean, I'm not trying to
gotta
be mean.
figure out a way to get you on
I'm
your
serious.
knees.
Like, I think it would have looked silly if he was like fighting down here with the sticks.
No, that's
Yeah.
true.
You know.
But either way, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't quite work out the way it feels like it should. Mm-hmm. So it's
Well, what happens like before any of like this stuff happens is he's driving along and there's a guy driving in front of him badly. And he notices his bumper sticker says something like "Kill 'em all, let God sort 'em out," and he says it out loud to himself. And then the idiot driving that car throws a trash bag out in the middle of the road that Seagal almost hits. And Seagal stops, runs over to it, sees the bag is moving, opens it up, and it's a puppy. And he's like, "Oh, if I ever run into you again,
it's
why
a
I
still
oughta-"
in sight.
German Shepherd puppy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the guy's still in sight. I would have like
Yeah.
caught up with him and been like,
Yeah.
all right, motherfucker.
This is a
let's
man
go."
who's out for justice.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is immediate justice right here.
Right. But he gives that foreshadowing bullshit of if I ever catch up to you again, why I oughta,
Yep.
it's like, all right, guy, that's going to be our final scene, I guarantee you. But he's just like, I've got a puppy now. He lives in my car.
Yes. Yes. it
Because
does.
he has numerous occasions throughout the entire film to drop that dog off somewhere and just, nope,
leaves it in the car.
it just lives in the car,
At least he leaves the windows down.
I guess. I don't know.
But still.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now he meets up with he's just kind of like questioning people. He's just kind of canvassing the streets.
Right. Well, he's
You-
gone
you
to
know,
see like Don, whatever,
Yeah,
Vitoli or whatever it was, and
Yeah, he's wrapped that up and basically said, "Hey, I'm going to murder him if I find him. So,
Right.
but you guys ought to find him first."
yeah.
And then he
Does he start with his brother or do you start with the
Well,
parents?
no. He goes and he's just driving down the street, and like the prostitute says something in the window to him, which I didn't catch.
I don't know what she
But
said.
then he says something to the next guys he drives by. He's like, "Did you just hear that? What the fuck?"
And they're like, "Hey, man, what'd she say?" And he just drives off.
yeah, like it's one of those things that like somebody when we were watching is like, was that like a real prostitute that
I
said
think it
something to
was.
him, and they just kept that take?
Yeah, because his laugh seemed genuine and not
Yeah.
acting, because I don't know if he can laugh convincingly. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's-
it felt out of character for
Yeah.
just a second.
it was weird.
Yeah,
But it,
and then
it
he-
seemed too much of a real character moment to be in the movie.
Yep.
But
But then he meets with his little informant guy, who's like,
selling seltzer water?
yeah, he's like 15 years old or something. And
Wait a minute, wasn't the prostitute scene right before he sees Richie and goes tearing
yes,
around?
that's what I'm about to
Okay.
get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he meets with the kid, and the kid's like, "Oh, nobody's seen Richie. Here's your seltzer water."
Right.
Okay.
$6
For
please.
$6. And then he drives like another block, and like Richie's there, trying to find guys to like just run backup for
Yeah,
him. he said.
he's in that like in Brooklyn where you have that center street thing. It's like not really officially a street, but there's like that like middle section of between the two
Yeah.
halves of the road.
Under the tracks.
Yeah, and like he's just like William Forsythe goes there and just like, hey, who's got the big enough balls to go run with me? And the thing about him throughout this movie is pretty much every scene he's just brandishing a pistol openly.
Always.
Like, and so
Yeah.
he's just like, he gets out of the car with his gun and he's just like, hey, who's coming with me? Which is like the weirdest way to try to recruit people.
Well, yeah, he's like, "Who's got big balls?"
And
Yeah.
These
he's
guys
he's
like, "I'm
chal-
fucking-"
yeah, he's like challenging him, and eventually
Yeah.
somebody's like, I've got big enough balls.
Balls are pretty big.
And like seriously, the second they agree to it, it's like that's when Steven Seagal's like, there he is.
Yeah,
and
well,
it's like,
and Richie sees him. He's like, "It's fucking Gino."
yeah. And he tries to like spin around to get in that area, and this begins a car chase where William Forsythe, and now he has 5 people in the car with him.
It's
and they're-
pretty full.
Like,
I love that. There's one guy crammed in the middle in
Yeah.
the front seat,
right.
Yeah.
And
next
somebody
to
in the
fat
middle
old
of the back
William
too.
Forsythe.
And like for a while they're bouncing over because they have these big humps because you're not supposed to drive down this as a road. It's
No.
it's preventative like giant speed bumps or speed humps as they call them because they're that big. And like they're kind of bouncing along and going sort of fast. Steven Seagal or his stunt driver is just hitting these things at like the fastest
At speed, man. Just
Yeah.
like
booking
just-
it.
Yeah, and man, it's just like they fucked this car up because like this thing is just going whomp boom, just like hitting the ground, and these things are spaced like 8 feet apart. So it's just he's just constantly going over these, and eventually the first car that he's chasing gets off of there and drives to this normal road, and
Well, yeah, because there were 6 guys in that car. You know they weren't all buckled in.
Right. But these things
Somebody could get hurt.
These things also have cross streets, so eventually, they kind of do the thread the needle through the traffic a couple times, and then eventually, 2 cars kind of like T-bone each other, and Steven Seagal has to spin around, but ends up still in there. So he's like trying to keep up with these people on the regular road, hitting these like giant speed hump things.
Yeah.
And
Keep in mind, the dog is in the car.
yes, the dog is in the car,
And you are seeing Seagal bounce.
Yeah, we have just been introduced to like, oh, you just have okay, you're gonna have that dog in the car, and like immediately it's like high speed pursuit. Over these speed bump things. And it's crazy, but
Yeah. The movie presents a constant peril for the dog. The dog is never actually in peril. You just make it up in your own head because you know that dog is in the car the whole time.
right. But they eventually kind of sort of lose him for half a second.
Well,
And-
there's a truck backing up,
right.
and they do the whole, we beat the truck,
Yeah.
and then he's waving the badge. Hey,
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were a cop.
Yeah, I didn't notice this high-speed chase that was just happening behind me.
I just have these guys walking panels of glass back and forth across the road. But they go to some deli, like a meat shop, like a meat packing shop, and a butcher, and that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I was getting there eventually.
Meat shop.
Whatever, I'll get there eventually.
It's fine.
And obviously this is some sort of front because they're like, I need the money and the weapons or something like that, because like he hands
money
him
and the bullets.
Yeah, he hands him like another box of shotgun shells, and they're like, he's like, deal with him. He's coming in. Like, put him on a hook.
Yep.
And William Forsythe and like his original 2 cronies like book it out the back door and like leave the guys that they've gotten for hire and the random people that were in the butcher shop. And of course, they all think they're going to be the ones that take out Steven Seagal as he just kind of comes in. And like the first guy comes out with a meat cleaver, and immediately gets it turned around and like jammed into his leg. Like,
And that guy really should have bowed out at that point.
Well, he's just sitting there like for as several other people attack him, just going ah.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys wailing in the background
Right.
in this movie, which I always appreciate.
Sure, yeah.
in any fighting movie.
Because it becomes even better because like another guy comes up, like he takes out another couple random people who come at him with, I don't know, nothing like important, but eventually this one guy comes at him with some sort of spike or maybe he grabbed one of the meat hooks, but he takes the cleaver out of the guy's leg, throws him up against the wall and goes honk to his hand and just sinks it like between the fingers.
Just pins him to the wall.
Yep. He hits another guy in the head with a salami.
Yeah. It's kind of like he's already kind of taken him out. It's just more like a, hey, don't do that.
Stop that
But he
shit.
does a lot of the marked for death, like, I'm going to pull you over my shoulder and break you at the elbow stuff.
Yes, there's a lot of wrist, elbow, ankle, or just snapping sounds happening.
It's a lot of Steven Seagaling.
Yes, it is, totally.
There's a ton of celery broken in the...
Yep.
Yeah, in the Foley
Yeah,
booth.
in the Foley booth.
there's a lot of good Foley, but like there's one point where I don't know if it's a bat or some other just block of wood that he's beating people with, and like everywhere he hits them, it's the same sound. Like that's the only thing I noticed. Like there was a lot of good breaking bone sounds, but like,
Are you talking about towards the end with the fight with Richie?
no, this was like in the butcher shop. Like there's some sort of bat or something that he's conking people with, and it's like he hits him in the leg, and it's like dunk, and then hits him in the head, dunk. It's like the same noise for every part of the body.
And
I
like
only had one salami to use to make the sound.
And then the butcher's like, all right, stop that shit. I've got a gun. And Seagal's like, you don't want to be a bad guy. You want to be a good guy, right? And the guy's like, what are you doing? Seagal just walks over to him and just grabs his wrist and turns the gun back around on him and just takes it and just like, stop it. Don't be that guy.
But it's pretty good because you've got the guy still hanging on the wall with the cleaver in his hand.
Still wailing.
The other guy's is like kind of like, I guess I don't want to be a bad guy because I just saw I'm 20 years older than all these other dudes, and
like just a butcher.
Yeah, and I had a gun, but I don't
permanently cripple these men.
now. I don't have a gun, so I'm just kind of standing there.
So
and
it's cool.
He comically like empties the rounds out of the gun and then just drops it in like the little shopping baskets at the front and walks out with a little ding ding noise as he goes out.
Yep.
And that's the end of that scene. Is it then that he decides? Like I said, I don't remember if he goes to see the parents first or the brother first, because
He goes.
I think
to
he
see
goes
the
to see
parents.
the parents first,
next.
Yeah.
which is Junior Soprano and Lady.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's not.
And he just shows up, and immediately they're just like, "Don't kill my boy!"
well, she's already wailing.
Yeah.
Like, she knows what's up. Yeah, the mom does.
And he's like, "If I find him, I gotta kill him."
Well, she's doing the, like, I don't speak any English, mother, and he's kind of this is Junior Soprano. We've seen him now, and now he's like attempting to thicken his Italian accent.
More Italian.
Yeah, and it's just like it drops in and out every time he talks. It's like, oh, there's that voice. Okay, now you're trying to do
Certain
come to
words.
this country in Subway.
Yeah.
It's not good sandwich. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, and they're just pleading. He's like, you know what I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're like a dad to me.
Well,
but
I mean,
he's
he
an
does.
asshole.
He does kind of reason it well, where he's like, he shot him in the street in front of his children.
He's like,
and
you
the
know,
mom's
you know
like,
the code.
yeah. And the mom's like, but he's still my son.
Your son's a
He's
piece
like-
of shit.
Yeah. He's like, don't you know this is a Steven Seagal movie?
Yeah.
I'm going to drop him down an elevator shaft or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure it hurts before he goes.
goes nowhere. So I guess then he goes to the bar.
Yeah, because the bar gets a lot of play in this movie because his Richie's brother owns this bar. Well, I mean, I'm
Runs
sure
it.
Yeah.
runs it.
Richie owns it.
Yeah, he has this shithole bar, pool tables and arcade machines and pinball tables.
Yeah,
and all
basically you have to go downstairs to get to it.
Yeah.
So you know that it's just great.
that. But the first time he shows up, I mean, the place is happening. Like it's it's mafia guy hangout. And he goes in, and everyone immediately is like, "Oh shit, it's Gino."
Yep.
And he's just kind of smugly walking around the bar. He's like, "Hey, anyone know where Richie is?" And he's just kind of like, "What about you?" Like, "Hey, what are you doing here? I didn't think you'd hang out with these people." And he's just kind of going around and giving everybody the stink eye and like, "What about you?" And they're all just, "Cap. If I could do something, I would."
And there's a bunch of people off screen just shouting like, fuck
Yeah,
you,
fuck
you
you,
get the
cop."
fuck out of here, you piece of shit."
And then eventually, like when he gets nowhere, like, 'cause he's just kind of going around interviewing everybody, and you've got half the supporting cast of The Sopranos and Goodfellas running around this bar. And I'm not joking. I mean, like that's not.
Yeah.
I'm not being stereotypical. I mean, there's like guy from Goodfellas sitting right there.
And there's the one guy who's like clearly better dressed than everybody.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
the one that he's talking to, and he's like, this guy keeps saying, "Well, he ain't shit without his gun and his badge. He ain't
And
shit
Seagal's
without
like,
that."
Oh yeah. So he just empties his gun and like, you want that? Fine, no gun. I got no gun now. And just someone take my badge. Just take it. And the
That's
guy's
your
like,
trophy. You
Well,
take
he-
my
he-
badge.
yeah,
That's
well,
your
what he
fucking
that was
trophy.
that was right before it
Yeah.
was like time to actual fight because
right.
like he wasn't done fucking with him for a while. Like he just kind of goes around
Yeah.
and interviews or gives him
Yeah,
the
one guy he like walks up to him and just shoves him into like it's an old phone booth.
oh, that guy mouths off to him.
Yeah, and he slides the door shut
Yeah.
on him.
I mean, like old like with like the wooden
Yeah.
phone booth and then eventually he's just like walking around the bar like the fuck's this and just like knocking people's beer glasses off and
Oh,
then he
yeah.
gets behind the bar and the
He's like
bartender's
the
like
biggest dick cat.
like the bartender's like you can't come back here and he just shoves him like to the end of the bar and then the guy's like slide out of the way. He's like that ain't right, man.
Yeah, but I love that when he's like flipping over like the beer, the glasses of beer, he just all of a sudden he's like picks up a hot dog.
Yep.
He's like, "Whose hot dog is this?"
and dunks it in a pitcher of beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Weird.
yeah.
But it's like it becomes a running theme in this that when he doesn't get what he wants, he just starts like
He will shit your place.
basically, yeah, yes, exactly. He shits your place. He's like, "Let's just make a mess then
Yep. It's just
until somebody fights me."
it's the most indirect, just like, this, fuck that, and this
Yeah.
thing in front of me. Bleh.
Just like a cat. Oh, you're not paying attention
Yeah.
to me? Yeah.
Bap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this thing important to you? Smash.
Yeah, and then he's like, "I see a lot of trophies back here for boxing.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you were? Were you a boxer?"
The guy's like, yes.
The guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Show me what you could do to me."
The guy's like 70.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, I'll show you. You son of a
okay,
bitch.
go to punch, and then Seagal just does his Seagal shit. And
Yeah,
that
he does
guy's
his
out.
flappy hands,
Yeah.
chucks him down on the ground thing,
But
and
he's-
then pops him in the face.
Yeah.
He's taking out all kinds of dudes, and then eventually they're like, "Hey, Sticks, get in here!" And that's
Well, almost.
okay.
What he's done, he had grabbed a pool ball and he was bouncing it on
right.
the floor.
Sorry.
Bouncing the cue ball off the floor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then he's kind of had it in his hand the whole time, and he's grabbed a towel from behind.
He grabbed the towel from when he knocked out the
Bartender.
The bartender.
bartender.
Yeah.
because it's
Yep.
like a bar rag.
So he's just, and that's when he keeps talking shit, and you can see him slowly rolling the towel around the cue ball.
The
Yeah.
first thing he did when he walked in there, though, was grab that
Yep.
cue ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, he's just menacing with it the whole time.
Yeah, and that's when he empties the gun, holds up the badge, and then basically the mafia guy goes, $5,000 to whoever gives me that badge.
And everyone's
That's my
like-
trophy.
Shit, let's do this.
Yeah, and this one dude with all these tattoos, this biker guy, is like, "All right, man, I'm gonna fuck you up." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Oh, are you, huh?" And that guy just gets cracked in the face with that cue ball in the thing,
Yep. Several guys get
And then
murdered
they
by
give him
cue
a
ball.
shot where he's leaning over the pool table, and
spitting out his teeth.
it's just like all the teeth come
And
out.
then again, my favorite thing, he goes, You knocked out half my teeth.
and comes at him again.
And then gets the other side of his
It's the
mouth
same
knocked
fucking
out.
thing.
Yeah. And one guy's like standing on top of a pool table behind him and tries to get a drop on him, and that guy just fucking eats table.
Yeah, but it's the moment they're like, all right, call
Six
in
or seven.
sticks.
It seems like 6 or 7 people get like a cue ball to the face.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they call in Sticks, who's this little short Asian dude that's been sitting in the corner with like, it looks like he should have a pool cue, but I don't think it is. I think it's thicker. I don't know why he has these sticks just sitting.
I think it was
It's
probably
for
one of those
occasions like
screwed
this.
together.
Yeah.
I know, but it looked like both halves were thicker.
Well, he was swinging them pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's hard for me.
Maybe it
to
was two
tell.
bottom halves of two screwed
Could
together.
be.
But this is the point where like I said, I honestly think he agreed to get hit by a guy, blindsided by a guy, just so he'd have an excuse to be on his knees. Because, like I said, I think he would have looked silly trying to fight this guy because he was a little bit off of eye level on his knees to this guy. This was a little dude. And so, like I said, I think it's just like he was like, all right, you can hit me once, blindside me. It's not so bad. He blindsided
That really
me.
is the only time he gets hit,
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely. I mean, he gets winged with a bullet, which does fuck all. It
yeah, of
does
course.
mean nothing in this movie.
It's like right in the middle of his stomach at the end of the movie, and he's just like, eh.
that stings a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
Give me
so,
a Tums.
so he's down and Styx comes over it, and they just do the whole mission for justice thing of just constant, just like stick, for like, I don't know, a minute. Just waving sticks at each other, and someone's dubbing in as many stick sounds as they can, and then just Seagal's like, enough of this tapping stick shit, and just clocks that guy. So
Yeah.
and it's just one of those comic scenes where like they're just injured bodies draped all over everything at this point. And he's like, who's seen Richie? All right, you see Richie.
And he makes a point to push that one guy back into the phone booth.
Yes, the guy has wandered out, and he's just like, nope, back
same
in
guy.
there.
But he eventually corners. I don't know his brother. I don't remember his name. Doesn't
Richie's
matter.
brother.
Richie's brother doesn't matter. But he, like that guy was going for a gun behind the bar, and he does the old. They got the folding section of the bar, and he just slams it down on this dude's arm, and then just proceed like the guy's still mouthing off to him, and so he takes his head, just slams it on the bar and breaks his nose, so he's just bleeding all over his place. He's like, you see Richie, you better tell me. Bye.
Yeah, and also the mafia guy, the main one's like, you can't hit me, I'm one of Dom's guys.
All right.
He's like, oh, are you?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
And he uppercuts him over the bar, so he lands in the back part of the bar, knocked out.
You never
He
see
lands
that
on the
guy.
back shelf of the bar.
Yeah, you never see that guy again.
Nope.
That guy's
He killed him.
That mini boss is
He
gone.
shoved his nose into his brain. He killed him.
Yes. Okay, he's dead.
Yeah. and then he leaves. And we're like, all right, yeah, that was a pretty damn memorable scene.
Yeah. And Richie is now hanging out in like a chop shop, right?
No,
He
he's gone
bounces
to,
around.
he's gone to visit Juliana Margulies.
Oh, okay.
Of Snakes on a Plane fame.
Yeah.
Her most famous role as stewardess in
Yes.
Snakes on a Plane.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Acclaimed stewardess.
Yeah.
all those Emmys she won for Snakes on a Plane.
Yes.
This is her first movie appearance. I don't even believe she was credited.
She was
right?
not at the beginning, no.
No.
Okay.
Because when she showed up,
yeah.
we were like, oh, hey, Juliana Margulies is in this.
Yeah, but she's apparently one of Richie's.
Who was?
Yeah, but she had quit,
Right.
and she's trying to teach her sister English.
Yes.
But how to read.
Or was it reading? Or
Yeah, it was
English?
just reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very brief. So
But Richie just shows up and is just like, hey,
You're not retired from me, are you?
let's do some business, if you know what I mean. And she's like, oh, God damn it. Fine.
He's also is it him by himself? Or
Oh, no.
is
The,
he-
all
No,
the,
he's
the whole
got it-
crew
it's-
rolls in
yeah,
there.
I think 2 or 3 guys are there, and he's once again menacing with a gun. So
Yeah.
she's like,
All right.
yeah,
just leave
and
us
this is
alone.
just like to drive home that he's a piece of shit. Like
As if
there
you
is
couldn't
never,
tell.
yeah, there is never a scene where he has any like a sympathetic bone in his body
Nope.
at any point whatsoever.
One, if that even started to hint of showing, he would just do some more crack.
Yep.
Because he clearly has a death wish. But yeah, there's that. And then at one point they all fuck off to a chop shop.
Yeah, eventually they get there after the long montage of stuff that were like that had to be scenes that were cut for
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there was a subplot here because all that footage is like not the stuff you shoot for a montage. It's like very specific, like
It was
like Steven Seagal having a very pointed conversation with somebody, a lot of those types of things.
Oh, and okay.
And William Forsythe just murdering more people
Yeah.
for no particular reason.
I gotta mention, even though it has nothing to do with the plot whatsoever, why the scene survived, I don't know. But like Seagal goes into a grocery store and just asks, you know, like, hey, you got any of that puppy dog chow? I got a puppy. He's carrying the dog, by the way, just through this grocery store. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, you need some of this, and you need these, and this is all our
We got everything you could need.
Yes.
Including 2 different types of dog food.
Right. Please buy both.
All 2 of them.
And he's just like, this stuff didn't come from Jersey, did it? I don't want my dog getting irradiated. Ha ha. The guy's like, yeah, fucking A right. Fuck
3
Jersey.
Mile Island,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Pointless scene. Nothing.
There are a few of those.
Just him walking in, buying pet food, and then throwing the pet food and his dog in the car to live. But anyway, okay, Richie's at the chop shop, and there's a guy in a wheelchair there, and man, Richie just is cutting this guy no slack at all. Just as soon as he sees him, just starts spinning him around, just like, ha, you're in a wheelchair. And then he's like, hey, let's... See, I think this happened before, because he was like, let's call up some whores and let's, have a party. And the guy was like, I haven't gotten laid since 1969. I'm in this chair. Mm-hmm. And Richie's mocking him for that. And then at one point, like, they put that guy in a chair, and Richie is riding his wheelchair all around the office, just going full speed and just crashing into things.
I mean, they show him taking a monster hit off a crack pipe right before that.
Yes, they do. And then
who hasn't done that in the chop shop and then beat up a cripple?
Yeah. But like cops show up in an armored vehicle, and his crew's like, "Oh shit, cops!" And so they start to fuck off up to the roof, and he's yelling at the guy in the wheelchair, like, "Did you ratted me out?"
You ratted because the guy asked. He's like, "So that cop you killed? Why'd you whack him?
Was it business or personal?"
He goes, "It was personal business."
Yeah, don't ask me my business.
Yeah.
And then that's when the cops show up, and he's just like, "Did you rat me out?" And he's like, "I've been sitting here the whole time."
Yeah.
What? And so Richie just shoots that guy dead, and they run off on the roof. And Richie's able to get away from being cornered by police a lot for a fat man on crack.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Hey, Chuck, you ain't gonna catch no crackhead.
But, I mean, for a guy who is not thinking clearly and is bombed out of his mind on crack, he is able to get away from a large police force on a regular basis.
Crack gives you super speed, Chuck.
I guess it does.
It does.
Yeah.
As opposed to super speed, which just makes you crazy.
That's true. We are like that. That scene is towards the end of the movie. There's another side plot because there's one more family member of Richie's. Because Steven Seagal goes to a fancier club. Like, this is like more like a proper nightclub with a VIP section upstairs, and it's run by Gina Gershon, who's
BMFcast alum.
Yeah,
with Showgirls.
Yeah, but she's Richie's sister, and apparently this is also his place, I guess. And he just kind of corners her, and they have some witty banter.
Sure.
Like as best as they can, because I mean, it's she has a history, they have a history, and she's just kind of got some disdain, but they have some.
Everyone, it doesn't matter what side you're on in this movie. Everyone has disdain for everybody.
Right.
Like, there is no friendly. Jerry Orbach and Steven Seagal are the only two people in this movie on the same page. Everyone else is just like breaking each other's balls just over nothing the whole time. Because like Gina Gershon probably doesn't have any information, but he's just not having it, and will do anything. Because he eventually gets her up to her office. And he just starts his whole like, well, fuck all your shit.
Yeah, starts basically throwing her desk into the air. Like,
just picks up
on her desk.
Papers, just confetti time. Papers everywhere, going through her desk drawer, just pulling stuff out. And at one point, so he's been back to the police station at one point and went through Bobby's desk and found like a giant bag of drugs and some Polaroids that show him fucking some lady, and it's
just sitting right there in the desk. Like, why do you keep a giant bag of coke and Polaroids of you fucking somebody that ain't your wife in your desk?
Yes. And the thing that I never understand about these Polaroids, of which there seem to be dozens of these things of him fucking someone, is that they're Polaroids. A third party was taking these things, and those two fuckers in the picture are posing for this, like making DreamWorks face and everything, just like smug, like, check me out, I'm banging this chick.
Let me explain something about crack to you, Chuck.
Okay.
I think he was on crack.
Do you?
Yeah.
What about just regular cocaine? Cocaine makes you
He did have a giant bag of it in his
you're way
desk.
more rational.
Wait a second. Are you saying like because he was on crack, he was so fast that he could run over and take the picture and run over and be in the picture?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Did Polaroids have a timer?
No.
No, you just had to sit there and shake them for a while, which
Yeah.
never worked.
You know, like, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
What? I don't. What is that?
I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, so it's this major plot point of the movie. These Polaroids are, but it's the stupidest plot point. It doesn't make any sense why, even if he's on crack, why he's like, yeah, take my Polaroid of me fucking you, and then whoever the person is who's actually taking it, that's never addressed at all.
When you do cocaine, man,
I guess.
you do weird sex things. Apparently.
Yeah. Well,
Definitely.
So there was a cocktail waitress at Gina Gershon's club who slipped him a napkin that just said Roxanne.
Right.
Roxanne. And
That's a weird name for a prostitute.
It is, right? Yeah. But when he finds the pictures, he's just like, oh, that must be Roxanne. You know.
Yeah.
He just kind of jumps to that conclusion, but not that important.
No, because like he arrests Gina Gershon because she won't tell him anything because she doesn't know anything.
Yeah,
and just
all she
throws
knows
her.
is he was there a couple days ago.
Yeah.
and I'll admit this is when I was confused because that montage makes it feel like a few days have passed.
Right.
But no, it's still the same night.
Because he still has the dog in his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, because William Forsythe is going around like, this is going to be the best night.
Yeah, this is
might
my
be my last night.
Yeah.
But,
I got a feeling.
And everyone's yeah. So,
Tonight's gonna be a crack night.
I filled up my pipe. Mazel tov.
but like he takes Gina Gershon back to the precinct and books her.
Yeah.
And is just like, I'll book you on prostitution, $10.
Well, no, he gives her a code.
Yeah.
To which the transvestite prostitute that's in the cell with her goes, "That's prostitution, honey."
Yeah. And she's just like, you son of a bitch. And he's like, can I get a witness on this? And like a cop in the back is just like, I see her on the street every night. And he's like, she's like, fuck all of you.
He goes, yeah, she's like $10.
Yeah.
And she's like, $10 this, fuck you.
Yeah.
And gives him the finger.
And Seagal's like, I thought you would have been at least 15.
Yeah. And then I think he comes back to some time has passed and he goes back to the station and
Hairball.
Fucking cats.
Let's make sure that's not in the carpet.
Hairball's out for
Wow,
Harambe.
You'll be all right. You're on the show. Do what you got to do.
That shit's loud, yo.
Some time has passed, and like Gina Gershon gets brought into like an interrogation room with her, whatever, and finally he's like, "I think I have some information." Who's this?
It's his palatial office that he's in. This
that's
rich
right.
mahogany
Yeah,
office
that's
that
right,
he
yeah.
has. Mr. Narcotics Man.
But basically, he's like, finally giving her the rest of the like. I know some information now. Look at this Polaroid, and I don't remember. Like he's like, I've got your dad locked up too. I mean, he's just
Yeah,
like,
because the dad came down just to like I don't even understand why he
He came down basically to say, I know I had to pretend like I didn't want you to kill my son in front of my wife, who's heartbroken about this, but I'm scared to death. He's going to kill both of us. Maybe do your thing and take care of my boy.
Yeah.
because he shows her the Polaroid. I think she still kind of pretends like I don't know who that is or whatever. And then, but basically, he's like, if I tell you anything, he's going to kill me. And he's like, he's your brother. You're his sister. And he's like, yeah, he's on crack. It doesn't matter. He's going to kill me.
It's like crack.
And
I just love this Polaroid evidence he keeps showing to people of this guy just doing like the Isaac the bartender, like, check out this bitch I'm fucking. And it's like, you're just showing this to random people, just like, you know this person?
Well, one person
what
got
if that's someone's daughter.
One person got the face shot where he's just coked out of his mind, like,
DreamWorks face.
Yeah.
It's just.
I love that
this
this poor actress, like, this is the entirety of her credit in the movie, aside from one dead body later.
Oh, it's Julie
Spoilers.
Strain. She's been in
I
much
know.
worse positions,
But it's
trust
just,
me.
It's just funny the way it's presented, where it's just like, check this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she appears in the Polaroids and then, very quickly dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
also naked.
Yes.
So yeah, that's her entire part in the movie.
But yeah, so he basically believes like, okay, maybe Junior Gershon doesn't know anything. I'll take you back to your club. And then that's when the waitress who brought over the napkin that said Roxanne on it, he's like, is this you? And she's like, no, idiot. And he's like, oh. And just shows her.
Well, no, he asked her if she's Roxanne.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, is
Yeah.
this you? He
I
pulls
thought
out the
you meant
napkin.
he showed the picture.
No, he pulls.
Yeah.
No, that would have been really stupid. But no,
kind of looks like you. Take your top off. Let's be sure.
he pulls out the napkin that says Roxanne. I was like, are you Roxanne? She's like, no. He's like, oh, what about this picture? He's like, that's Roxanne.
Well, no, at first she like breaks down because we basically the rest of the plot comes out that oh god, if this is a plot at all,
Richie's fucking everyone, and Bobby's fucking everyone that Richie's fucking.
yeah, Bobby apparently got jealous of Richie's lifestyle and rather than go find his own women, like found
that comes out
was
in
cheating
a
was
Seagal
cheating on his wife with
montage.
the cocktail waitress and Roxanne.
Yeah.
And Bobby or Richie found out and was that's why.
Yeah,
he
apparently
did this.
Roxanne was Richie's girl or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like the thinnest reason for. I mean, I really think it should have been like a dirty cop scenario, not this jealous bullshit. Because, like, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, because
Richie.
not only do they make his partner like a guy who is the shitty guy who's cheating on his
Right.
wife with two women, they make him on the take too because he's got the big bag of coke.
Yeah.
in his desk at work
I'm just saying, like,
in a police precinct.
Sometimes you
He's
just
got like the.
gotta put your face
It's
in
not
that.
even like the hefty gallon bag. It's like the bigger Ziploc than that. It's like check out this much coke.
Yeah. Emergency.
It's not coke. It's not cocaine.
Yeah.
It's cocaine, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's that quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's just like got a fucking garbage bag of coke in his desk
Well, when
with
Seagal,
with a wad of
Yes.
$100 bills.
yeah, when Seagal goes
Oh
to,
yeah, that's evidence.
he's like, well, let me see if I can figure out what's going on. I'll open his desk and just opens the incriminating desk drawer, giant bag, Polaroids,
Like he might as well. He's just written incriminating and fine
Yes.
script on it.
gun with the serial number filed off, just nuclear codes.
Yeah, there's a little note that says, "In case I'm dead, this wasn't me."
Right. So it's
Shah of Iran's personal phone.
so dumb, but whatever.
Yeah.
So they go. It's like, all right, well, let's go to Roxanne's place, and then Seagal's like, oh, Roxanne's dead.
Yeah.
Oh well, and hey, come in here and check this dead body out, lady.
Hey, identify the body for me.
and then she's done. The cocktail waitress is
Oh
done
yeah,
after
because
that.
Jerry Orbach shows up and just like, what the hell's going on? Is like, I showed her a dead body,
He's like, "Did you have any breakfast? It's pretty bad up there."
and it's weird because this shot is like all the police cars arriving, and it kind of cranes up a little bit, like it's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's a weird place to end it. Nothing has been resolved, but why would you put that shot in there?
Meanwhile, Richie has decided it's time to go back to Juliana Margulies' place.
Yeah.
And have a coke hooker party.
Like you do.
And he calls all his friends because well, actually, before that happens, they go back to the bar and he meets up with his brother for the last time because his brother's gotten beaten up by Seagal, and then the mob has come and beat him up.
Yeah.
Where we get our one, like the grizzled wise guy.
The guy who just will come at you like before you have a chance to do anything and is taunting you the whole time and telling you you're a piece of shit while he's hurting you.
Yeah,
because he
and
just
this
grabs that
like
guy's nose.
70 years old.
Yeah.
He's great. He is great.
He grabs the brother's nose and is just like, you know where he is, don't you? You know where he is. Well, if you don't, I'm going to fucking come back here. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your unborn children. I'm going to fucking murder everyone in here and your nose first.
I'm going to murder him with your nose.
I'm going to rip your nose off.
See this?
and
I
beat
got your nose. And I'm
that
going to
guy
murder
to
people.
death with it.
Yeah. But the guy's like, no, really, I don't know where Richie is.
He hasn't been here.
I don't like getting my ass kicked. I would tell you guys by now.
Yeah.
But eventually Richie comes back, and Richie's just pissed at him too. Richie starts beating on him. He's like, "Why did you kill him? It's
Yeah.
just Steven Seagal." And he's like,
Look at this place.
Dude.
How did you let him do this?
Yeah.
And he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore, man.
Yeah, he really is.
Because like more mob guys come in.
Yeah, they're coming, and one of the guys says, "Hey, they're here," and
Yeah.
and he's like, "All right, grab a gun and shoot them." And the guy's like, "I can't."
He's just like, you piece of shit. I don't want to ever see you again. Yeah. So they kill these 3 mob guys who show up. And Richie's just basically like, I win. I'm the winner. Game over for you guys. Let's go somewhere else now. And that's when they go to Juliana Margulies' house.
That's when he's like, "I
have the giant
I
coke
have
party.
killed all I can kill."
Yeah. So let's wrap this up. Let's let's coke it up. Because they come in and she's just like, oh shit. really, again, you guys probably were here 2 days ago in the script, but because the movie's so edited badly, you're back 20 minutes later. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, and he like plops down on the couch like on top of the sister.
Yeah. And
she's like,
no.
I'll take care of you, Richie. Things will be great.
Yeah.
And kind of like shoves the girl out of the room basically. And he's like, and this is the point where like the one of the henchmen, who's God, what was it? Bobby Arms is the guy's name. Who's played by Jay Acavone, who he's one of those guys, like as soon as you see him, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this guy in a million things, but you can never remember what any of them are.
Nope.
But he's got a like kind of like a little head wound, and he seems like he's just sick of the crack pipe lifestyle at this point.
Yeah, there was a scene deleted somewhere where that guy got beat up because okay, well this is after, so they were all driving around and were listening to Police Scanner.
Oh, that's right.
And
oh god,
yeah,
that's right.
So because like there's been a scene where Seagal has tried to reconcile with his wife, and then
It seems like it's working.
yeah, and then like so all the bad guys converge on that apartment. And they're all sneaking around outside because they're going to break in and murder everybody because that's where Seagal is. And Seagal just basically grabs every gun he can find and shoots everyone through walls, through schools, through just whatever he can shoot through.
Yes.
And he mercilessly murders dudes in this. Like, there's one guy, like, he gets the guy, he can, like, disable the guy, but no, he just fucking shoots him in the chest, like, at point-blank range.
And there's one guy in a hallway that he disarms, and the guy's like, you're going to shoot me, I'm unarmed. And he's like, yeah, you're right, I'm going to do this. And just runs him down the hall and throws him over the fire escape to his death.
Yep.
But meanwhile, his wife and kid are hiding in the bathtub of this apartment. So
yes, bullets are flying into the back because Seagal is not watching where he's shooting at all.
But I love William Forsythe's face as they're listening to Police Scanner, and he's calling in. He's like, yeah, there's a bunch of Richie's guys here, and there's like 6 of them are deceased now.
Yeah, because that's
and they're like, oh man, really?
Yeah, because that's when it's just him and the guy that you mentioned who show up at Juliana Margulies' house. But between them driving around and showing up, that guy has a giant wound on his head. Like, well, how did that happen? But whatever.
Yeah, well, you work for Richie.
Yeah, you probably got slammed into the dash at some point.
Typical.
You didn't use your signal.
Yeah.
Is that how
typical
you buckle your
crack wound,
seatbelt?
Crackheads get cracked heads all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they do.
There you go.
Get cracked heads.
I remember that in DARE class.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Officer
They
Friendly
told
comes
me about
around
that.
and tells you crackheads get cracked heads. It's a mnemonic device to remember not to do crack cocaine.
It's very important. It's good stuff to know.
Mnemonic device.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, it's time for a coke hooker party.
Right.
And they've got, at this point, he goes in and the kid informant happens to live next door to Juliana Margulies.
Yeah, because he's like, hey.
And she gets on the payphone and calls and
like, Gino,
yeah.
they're here.
Yeah. Gino, hey, buddy, check it out.
This phone booth is smashed to fuck. Like, how this phone actually works, I have no idea. Because it's like almost hanging in midair. There's no surrounding structure for this phone booth. Whatever. It gets right through to the cops. And
yeah. But yeah, so he's like, he's like, my uncle lives next door. He's at her place right now. Mm-hmm. And for once, Steven Seagal's like, all right, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll be there in a second.
Get safe somewhere.
Get like 20 city blocks away.
Yeah. Yeah. For once,
If
the
you
collateral
can run.
damage person
Yeah.
is going to be so far away from the actual death montage that's
I don't
about to
say
happen.
this often, but run to Jersey. Go to Jersey. It's the only safe
It's the
place
only
right
safe
now.
place. I'll apologize later.
Yep. Yeah. And so this starts the final scene where he basically jogs up to the place with a shotgun, starts sneaking in, and the one girl, the sister, is just kind of curled up in the outside, like on the fire escape or whatever. And he's like, all right, shows the badge, and then it's like, you better leave too. You better head to Jersey.
He does a lot of signaling to her to leave before she actually does. It's like, okay, badge, gun, out, you get out now. Finally, she's like, me? He's like, yes, you go.
Yeah.
2 words. Sounds like.
But what I don't understand is when he finally does go into the place, he's observed the party, he's scanned, he's doing the hitman, scan everyone mission stuff, and then comes in and he's like, everyone put your hands up, you're under arrest or whatever, and they're like, there's like 30 of us and one of you, so no.
Well, one guy is just holding a gun under the table. Like the second Seagal walks in, he's just like, all right, and the guy's like, blam.
Yeah, and that's the one shot that Seagal takes to the side somehow, but it
means
does
nothing. Yeah.
No, at one point, it looks like dead center in the stomach when he's showing it off later, but he's basically just sticking his finger in it like, look, I got shot. Check this shit out.
Yeah.
Ain't that a bitch?
I still got another kidney.
Yeah.
Look, if I whistle and do this, it changes the pitch.
Yeah, but so he just unloads with this shotgun and just starts blasting guys, and starts diving behind things. There's a big shootout. Hookers are running out of the place, screaming.
Guys are coming at him.
And
He's just doing his, turning their force into nothing and throwing them through walls.
Yeah, and Bobby Arms, comes out and is like, oh, fuck. And, he's got, he's got one of the hookers as a hostage.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of pushes him away and runs away, and he's like, oh, fuck. And Seagal shoots this guy in the shin and blasts the lower part of his leg off at the knee.
Clean off.
And he goes from Johnny Arms to Johnny One Leg. And then
Johnny Arms had a farewell to leg.
and then he just starts. The best part is he's lost his leg, and he goes, "You shot off my fucking leg.
Yeah.
Clean off.
Yeah.
God damn it."
And you hear him in the background for the next 2 minutes
Just
screaming and bitching about his missing leg.
He's like, "God, that's a dick move.
Yeah. Yeah.
How am I going to walk now? You shot my leg off.
Yeah. And there's
No, you come back here.
there's one
Help me
guy.
put my leg back on. Anybody. This hurts."
There's one guy who's on the other side of this wooden railing thing, and Seagal's not quite sure what he's going to do, so he just grabs that guy's arm and pulls him through this barrier.
He spends a good 10 seconds looking at the gun, looking at the guy, looking at Juliana Margulies. He's like, how do I kill this guy?
Yeah, and this is the biker guy who's
Yes.
lost all his teeth. So,
That's right.
this guy hasn't suffered enough at Steven Seagal's
He's
hands.
also got a
He
big
has no
fucking
teeth.
knot on his head.
Oh, yeah.
And no teeth.
Yes. But yeah, so he pulls him through that wall, and the guy's still like, come on.
Yeah.
And
He's like,
Seagal
"Fuck you, cop."
kicks that man to death. He
Yes.
kicks him, and he flies backwards into a wall, dead.
Yeah, he hits all the celery and is dead.
Yeah.
Everything in his body has shattered. That man is no longer a man. He is a puddle.
Yep. So then he goes into the room, and Juliana Margulies goes, "He's in the bathroom." And they just kind of both open fire at the wall between each other. Neither of them hits.
No.
And finally, William Forsythe comes out, and he's like, "I'm all out of bullets."
Well, he's holding the gun to his head.
Yeah.
His own head. He's like, what are you going to do? And that's not really a threat, guy, because either I'm going to murder you or you are. I don't care.
Yeah.
That only worked in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Yep.
So William Forsythe eventually is just like out of bullets, and then Seagal's like, "Oh yeah, me too." Empties his gun and throws it down.
He goes, "You should have saved him. It would have saved you a lot of pain."
Yeah. And then Seagal proceeds to murder not only him, but the entire house with him.
Oh yeah.
Like Juliana Margulies, this house has to be condemned. It's totaled. No one can ever live there again.
No.
It's like he's trying to renovate the kitchen. He's like, well, they don't want any of this shit anyway, so let's just slam Richie into it for
You
5
understand
minutes.
they would have to disclose not just one person died there, 14 people died in this house.
And a guy lost half his leg.
Yes.
And one
Might be
guy
under
is
the
still
floorboards, we're not
bitching
sure.
about his leg.
His ghost is going to be bitching about that fucking leg for decades.
And the worst part is they cut that guy's death out of the movie because it was in the NC-17 version that's only on Laserdisc, which we didn't get to see. But we never know
No.
What
Johnny
rules are
One
we?
Leg's fate.
Johnny 1.5 legs.
Yeah, okay. There you go. But yeah, he's just chucking Forsythe around, and Forsythe keeps grabbing stuff. Seagal keeps disarming him and just throwing the things to the side disgustedly.
Well, no, a couple times whatever he picks up gets used on Forsythe.
Yeah.
Like whatever he will pick up something, and then Seagal will just turn it around
Yeah,
and
there's a cast iron skillet.
Oh yeah,
And
he
he-
hits him in the head.
He's been beat to shit at this point. Like him reaching for the skillet, like him on the floor, like maybe something's up there. and reaches for it, and just immediately like, gets turned around and
Yeah, but like when he takes the big butcher knife from him, he just looks at it and he's like, fuck this thing.
Yeah, but the end result is he picks up a corkscrew.
Because they were classy. They were drinking wine with their crack.
Yes. And comes at Seagal with the corkscrew, which immediately he's disarmed, and Seagal just jabs the corkscrew right into his brain.
Yep, right in his forehead.
Dead.
And he goes,
Richie's dead.
yeah, and he goes, that one's for Bobby.
Yeah. Not the best thing you could say.
Yeah. Come on. How many screw you jokes
Yep.
could there have been that they didn't use?
Yep.
We got our screw you joke last week. Last week?
That was it was.
Yeah.
It was a good one, but still, we can have 2 in a row.
Yeah, come on.
It just keeps everyone should say if you kill anyone with a screw related item, say you're screwed.
always knew you were a corksucker.
Or that. Anything.
Anything.
I don't know.
But like one of the mob guys has shown up and is coming into the house, and Seagal kind of accosts him, takes his gun, and just shoots Richie like 4 more times. And the guy's like, whoa, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, you get credit.
You did what you had to do.
You got the kill. I was just here. Bye.
My name's Gino, and you're the Pinot. Noir. I don't know. I just want to write one-liners for getting killed by a corkscrew. I'm sorry.
But then basically it's like a daytime,
Yeah.
and Seagal and his wife are at the pier,
Yeah, and he's carrying around that dog.
He's got the dog. So the dog lived. We're constantly worried about the safety of this dog.
Well, yeah, he shuttles a lot of people around in the car, and it's not like they're holding the dog.
Yeah.
Man, I would have loved that. If, like, whoever got in the car, like Gina Gershon taking her to prison, he's just like, all right, hold this dog for me.
Yes, exactly. No one,
run
whoever
away.
gets in the car interacts with the dog. It's just the dog knows to instinctively get in the back seat and just let
But
me,
yeah,
like,
he's
whatever.
walking with the wife talking about, oh, well,
And guess what he sees?
he sees... Well, this guy bumps her out of the way when there's clearly enough room to get around.
Yeah, and he's like, what? And he watches that guy go back to his car. Guess what?
Yep.
It's the car from the earlier part of the movie that threw the dog out.
Yep.
And Seagal's like, hey, did you throw a puppy chow out of your car? He was like, yeah, fuck you, you piece of shit. And Seagal's back in beret mode again, like an idiot. And he's like, oh, I'm a piece of shit? Come at me. And the guy's like, I'll show you. And, tries his lame 65-year-old man punch on Steven Seagal, and Seagal's not having it. Kicks that man in the balls.
Yeah, spins that guy around and kicks him in the balls from behind.
Destroys this man's
To
testicles.
which the guy falls down and goes, oh, my balls.
Which, good on you.
Again.
That's what you should say when you get hit in the balls.
And, of course, they set the dog down.
It's like, hey, puppy, go do your thing.
And the dog goes and pees on the guy's head with the loudest Foley of the movie.
Oh, it is just, they went into the bathroom and filmed just someone in the biggest urinal they could
Yeah.
find. It's like, all right, we got it. Dub that in. That's just like a dog peeing on a man. And
Yep.
then he's like, this puppy dog's a police dog.
Yep.
Duh.
And then we get a montage of B-roll from the movie, which freeze frames on a not so flattering
Big
freeze
lumpy
frame of
faced Seagal making a face
Seagal
like
looking
"Huh?"
angry.
Yeah.
As one of the songs that apparently he wrote plays.
Yes, being sung by Greg Allman.
Yeah.
Man, how'd you get Greg Alt?
I don't know, but
This is 1991. It's a crazy time.
He probably just shared some of the cocaine.
yeah, they were binging. Really disappointing that Seagal wrote that song and it sounds like a ramp up to describing the events of the movie, and then it doesn't.
Yep.
Not only does it not, it doesn't use the title of the movie.
Nope.
So, fuck you, song.
Yep.
No credits for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But other ratings.
Yeah. Yes.
Other ratings.
I can go.
Okay.
Unless you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'll go and go. I know this is going to sound a little strange, but I really enjoyed this movie. And I'm tentatively leaning towards 5 Jocks. Like, I was at a 4 Jocks movie for this entire thing, and I kind of forgotten about the shithead dog thrower outer guy. I mean, so like that ending scene was like, all right, finally, justice for puppy, and like that just kind of was like, all right, that's the ending I needed. Like it felt like here's an extra Jocks kind of ending. Like 'cause it just felt between him, systematically beating the shit out of William Forsythe and the dog getting his own form of justice, it was kind of all good, and it kind of wrapped up in the way that I really liked it. So yeah, I think this is a Five Jocks movie for me. I mean, I feel obviously maybe not as strongly as some Five Jocks movies, but I really fucking like this movie. Like I know Seagal is a bad actor, and I know like his accent was terrible, and you know he was questionably speaking Italian, but like, I was actually like buying the character interaction. Like I kind of was like getting that Brooklyn neighborhood feel. Like I know some of it was cheesy, but I was really getting that. Like, oh, we all know I've seen a lot of movies like this. You know, there's a lot of New York filmmakers where it's like, yeah, we grew up and we grew apart and we kind of did different things. You know, there's lots of movies like that with that theme, and this felt like a pretty good example, strangely enough, with lots of arm breaking and gun shooting. So
Yeah.
Okay. So you're settling on a 5?
yeah,
Yeah. I don't think it's strange.
okay,
I was solidly at a 4. I don't think I gave the other Seagal movies 5, but this is definitely the best Seagal movie we've watched. And I would say 4 Jocks. The only reason it doesn't is the editing being so confusing for so many points.
Yeah.
You know, and so many pointless scenes that are left in, like when he tells the story that we skipped over completely, like with a mobster about how he grew up with this other guy, you know, and he looked up to this guy who was a mobster.
it was his uncle.
Yeah.
His uncle was going
uncle.
to take him to the movies and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and then there was a guy, and he was able to intimidate him even though he was 9 years old because his mobster uncle was there, and it's like a completely pointless story that doesn't even like tie into something. You know, there's not like, okay, and that's why I have to go after Richie. You know, there's none of that. So
he has another one too. He talks about his dad and like how
when he's talking to the
his
wife.
sharpening company went out of business essentially because people bought disposable knives and scissors and crap.
Yeah, yeah, but otherwise, I realized this is a blaxploitation movie without any black people in it. But no, really, like it's got the irredeemable bad guy who's just a complete piece of shit throughout. It's got like the one guy who's kind of a cop but not really part of the system, and it's got all the people on the street that know him and are willing to interact with him even though he's not really part of their world.
It's very Trouble Man-y.
Yeah,
in that regard.
It's very much it's very much taking the blaxploitation thing, you know, the formula of it, and also the violence, where it's not afraid to shy away from violence whatsoever or swearing, you know, in a way that around that time kind of things had moved towards getting away from that stuff, and this was refreshingly not anything, you know, like it earned its R and then some. So I really like it. I just wish that like all the subplot stuff hadn't have been handled the way it was, and that the editing had been made tighter so that it didn't feel like this was like multiple days, even though it was one night.
Yeah. And
multiple subplots that just like randomly went nowhere. But still, 4 Jocks. It's a solid, fun movie, and goddamn that whole pool hall scene in that bar where he's just beating the shit out of people with a cue ball is so good.
Well, even before that, just as like shit your place moments.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yep. But yeah, it's a very solid 4. I'm tempted to go 5, but I can't quite do it.
Okay.
You know, I was kind of at a 3 before you mentioned the sort of blaxploitation style of this movie, and I was like, oh, you know what? This is actually it actually is like all the elements that we really like about that, except for black guy getting revenge on some dumbass honkies, which is, you know, one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's like replace blaxploitation with Italian exploitation or something.
Kinda, yeah. Especially bad because it's, you know, a poor approximation of Italian from a Irish Jewish guy.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this movie's a definite 4 Jocks. Like, if it had been a little bit tighter in the pacing and not kind of like, if it hadn't been hacked apart by Steven Seagal, like not in his acting but in his, you know, in his editing demands, I think it could have easily gotten to a 5 Jocks movie for me. Also, or conversely, if it had had more explosions or another scene of ass kicking, because I felt like we did a little bit too much running around and not quite enough ass kicking. So, had we had another 2 to 3 minutes of Steven Seagal breaking people's arms in interesting ways, or, you know, flipping them into a pinball table, But
The pinball tables survived.
They did. They were lucky pinball tables. But had we had a little bit more of the old ultraviolence, it could have put me over. But still, solid 4 jocks.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about Out for Justice, and I realize that some of them are because of later events in Seagal's career that are affecting my opinion here. It's like
Sex Dungeon.
Well, not even that stuff. It's like this is on the tail end of Seagal doing things that everyone wants him to be doing. Because then after this, he would make 50 movies that are total garbage.
For Under Siege.
No, I mean, yeah, but I mean, this is like the ramp down from doing all the good things, and it's also the ramping up of his needless. I need to be more involved with everything, like every facet of it. I need to produce.
Like when he started to be producing,
soundtrack. I need to do all the things. I need to take control of the film and have it re-edited. That kind of thing. Sometimes you've got to trust people to tell a story, to put a film together and stuff like that. You can't be the one all the time to take control and make yourself the center of the universe. And you can see that happening here, and the film suffers for it because everyone else is just disregarded.
Yeah.
Like characters who probably die off screen or had fights off screen, or just the whole thing about him thinking that William Forsythe is becoming bigger than him in the movie is absurd. It's absurd. It's crazy
William
talk.
Forsythe.
It's just so.
I'll
Go ahead.
I'll say that Forsythe is working on stealing the show the entire movie.
He's unhinged. He's
like,
out of his mind the entire time, and that's what you need.
great. It's
like
amazing.
If you're gonna have a guy shoot a cop in broad daylight at the beginning of your movie, he needs to stay consistently unhinged throughout,
Yeah.
and he does. Like, you want this man to die the worst possible death,
but he's never going to be the star.
Thankfully, I mean, who knows with other cuts? I mean, but thankfully, there is a point where we know the bad guys are coming to his house from that scene, and we have also figured out that the dog is still in the car.
Yeah,
and there was that moment where I was like, "If you fucking John Wick this, we don't need it." Like, I mean, that was the end. That was the end for John Wick. Like, we already hated William Forsythe. I was afraid they were going to do that.
Yeah,
because I mean, you just seem like the guy. Like, he'd be like, "Hey, Gino," and he'd stand outside with the dog, and just it's like, "Oh, motherfucker."
But I think the hubris to take this role when he is not anywhere close to being Italian and attempting to do it and failing miserably, and then calling out other actual Italian people in the movie and telling them that their accent sucks, which is what he did to William Forsythe at one point.
Who's from Brooklyn.
From fucking Brooklyn. I mean, come on. He went to somebody and said, I need speeches. I need moments where I can act. And that's why there are those 2 or 3 moments where it's just long, slow zooms on him while he's monologuing. And it's like, nobody fucking cares if you act. That's not why any person is here for this. So,
break somebody's wrist.
yes, do your thing. Dancing monkey, do it. I don't want to hear you Shakespeare it up. So I have a lot of anger about there things in this movie, but a lot of it is related to what happened to Steven Seagal after this, because I think it's a waste. I think that when he is kicking ass and doing the shit that he is trained to do, it's awesome. And there's no one else doing it. There was no one else doing it then, and there's no one else doing it now. No one. I mean, there's not like another Steven Seagal who has come along and taken up that mantle, and he just shit all over that for the rest of his career. I still like this movie. The parts of it that are Steven Seagal movie-ish are great. I'm going to give it 3 jocks because the fight scenes are great, and overall the blaxploitation-esque story is really good. I just think he's the wrong guy for this movie, and it's fucking bullshit that he just kind of pushed his way into it and took it over.
He's the wrong guy for anything but acting in this movie.
Yeah. I mean,
because
you can still tell the story without his backstory and monologues and all that shit. You don't need it.
Who else?
It's just ego. We're watching him stroke his ego by telling these stories, and it's nobody cares, dude. Go fight,
right?
And
because you don't have anybody else that can play this role, at the time,
right?
Not to do the martial arts stuff, but I mean,
right?
Stallone's pretty fucking Italian. I mean, as far as like action movie guy of the time.
Yeah. I mean,
he would have been doing
Sure,
the hand-to-hand stuff.
I would say the same thing if this was Van Damme in this movie, because it would be stupid if Van Damme was trying that accent and monologuing and shit. I'm like, that's not what we want from you, guy. But because this was Seagal and it started a trend of him doing this shit, you know, which I think probably peaked at On Deadly Ground, when it was just like, here's my environmental bullshit movie and I'm going to speechify the fuck out of it. And then after that, it was just like, well, I'm just not going to make a real movie ever again. Except with maybe, you know, DMX or...
I like Bosnia.
Yeah, I'm just going to go live there.
Croatia's nice this time of year.
So just push me around on a cart with my fist out and I'll run into dudes.
Fill me only from the chest up.
Right. So, whatever. It makes me mad that his career was squandered on bullshit and ego.
What was your rating?
3 jocks.
All right.
Fair enough. You stay on the island this week.
Yay.
I guess we should take a break then, huh?
Sure.
All right.
I have one movie for the second half.
I also have a movie, but it is more of a, you should watch this movie, not me really talking about it.
Okay. God, I just scrolled to the screenshot of Mission of Justice, where it's just the guy going, "You broke my fucking hands." Oh, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cocktail waitress in a Dolly Parton wig. I said, I know that, ain't she cool? That's the kind I did.
I like my women just a little on the trashy side.
Whoa. Don't we all?
We didn't even mention this guy wrote Roadhouse.
Yeah, I know. I kept trying to remember that, and I kept forgetting.
And also, after writing Out for Justice, never wrote again.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah, I was going to mention that in the beginning, and then we kind of moved into plot, like, immediately, so. Didn't mention it.
Man, any guy who writes Roadhouse, good on you.
Yeah, you got to get credit.
Roadhouse.
He poured everything into Roadhouse, man.
Roadhouseman.
And we didn't even mention Tuco showed up in this for half a second.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny, the one guy who's with William Forsythe pretty much the entire movie, he dies off screen at some point, I guess, but the guy who he was described as having a neck tattoo.
Yeah, with the pants.
Yeah.
He died in the apartment.
Oh, did he? Was he
got
one of those
shot.
guys? Okay.
He got shot from behind. Like,
okay.
They at least the way the shot was framed, he got shot. You saw his back.
Okay.
The way they shot it. So all I knew was I saw his pants. I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
That guy was like a major character on Nip Tuck for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But he was like super tattooed up. Like over the years, he has gotten more. Like his career has been based on just covering himself in tattoos.
Yeah.
So he's just head to toe tattoos at this point. So he was a character on Nip Tuck and then was a ghost on Nip Tuck.
A ghost.
Yeah.
I have never seen a second of that show.
It starts good.
Yeah.
It's good for about 3 seasons. Then it spins its wheels, and
I'd say less.
I know you don't like the Carver stuff,
I
but the
don't.
Carver stuff is good.
All right.
Can take your word for that.
Half the show is good.
That's why. I mean, I haven't watched it, but apparently that's why American Horror Story works, is because Ryan Murphy isn't good for much more than one season. So when you have a rebooting, show every season,
I don't mind that, but I bailed on American Horror Story so long ago.
I know. I'm just
it's
saying, like that. I mean,
bullshit.
that's kind of the thing he needed to do, because he reads fucking comment sections and starts tailoring his show around what people like, and
Right.
it's like, well, because I've had
Sounds horrible.
Well, I've had that discussion. Like the first season of Glee is legitimately good, and then it's like, hey, people want more of this shit. And it's like, nah.
nah.
Like, no, we really didn't. Like, that wasn't what was
Yeah, we're
interesting
good.
about it. Yeah.
Nice spreadsheet you got there. Shame if something happened to it.
That would be a shame because we use this. This is very important.
What is it? Our ratings?
Yeah.
thing?
It's 8 years of...
What did we give the other Seagulls? Is that what you were looking up?
Yeah, I need to. Let's Control F. What we did marked for death.
We did do Marked for Death.
3332.
Who gave it to?
Harlow.
What did I do?
He gave
Hard
2 jocks to Mark for
kill.
Death.
Oh, is that bad?
Hard to kill.
Oh,
233. That was a non-Chuck movie. You skipped that week.
Hard to Kill? What episode was that?
90.
Oh, I was dying.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
I was. That's when I came back from Chicago and was
Yeah.
dying.
BJ gave that a 2. Harlow and I gave him 3s.
Well, oh no, your first was like 81, right, or 2? Or
That may have
Deathstalker
been, and might
was
give
my
everything
first, so
a
that was-
two-face.
83 was
Yeah.
Deathstalker. And then we made you an official member, and then you skipped.
That's right. Yeah. You invited me back permanently, and I was
Because
like,
you,
nah.
you got confluenza.
I did. Yes, I did. Very bad.
Oh, yeah. You came back for Bulletproof.
Uh-huh.
And that's when we're like, yeah, Chuck's an official member. And then you skipped Snake Eater and Hard to Kill.
Snake Eater I brought also.
Yeah, you
I just
brought
wasn't
us
here
the
for
movie
it.
and then vanished.
Yeah, that's right.
Sneaky Eater.
Yeah.
Eater of snakes.
And then he stuck around for Birdemic and then like 100 and something episodes after that. So
Yeah.
good job, Chuck.
Thanks.
Way to go.
Yep.
You're the best.
And then I just started ruining my attendance record.
Yeah.
I think I made like the first 170 and then I've missed like 40 since then.
Mhm, then you got married.
Yeah. Funny how that happens, isn't it?
Uh-huh. All right. Let's second half it up. Does he have voicemails he need to pull up or anything?
I do.
We
I'm right
apparently got
here.
a new one while we were...
I'm right here, Chuck.
This guy. Fuck nuts over here.
Apparently Scott from Dallas...
Sizzle chest.
Uh-oh. Scott from Dallas called and left a message. I haven't screened it.
Just now?
Yeah.
Well, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah. And there's another one.
I was going to say, the one that we got recently that you and I talked about, Mackie, we should play because it's relevant.
4
to
days
something.
ago.
If it's about...
From Saturday.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
One from Greenville.
Greenville.
I don't think I listened to that one.
You didn't, but you and I talked about it.
Okay.
Because I commented to you about it, and you were like, what?
Yeah. Okay.
It's a movie recommendation that is oddly timed.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay.
So who has what?
I got.
I have a theatrical movie.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Mine's from 2014, so...
I haven't seen. Anything.
I was busy willing these shirts into existence.
You did good, my friend.
Sitting in my Zen garden for hours at a time.
You could have just checked the tracking.
You really could.
You could have just clicked on it once and then gone about your day.
I had to help them out with the power of
With
my
your
mind.
Zenning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to see the ink through the screen and onto
Sure.
the
As you do.
shirts.
Yeah. All right.
Sitting like this really hurts your arms, by the way, when you do it for hours a
You
day.
shouldn't do it. Stop doing that. Put your arms down.
Yeah.
It works, though, as evidenced.
Yes, because now you got guns.
Hun.
Second Amendment.
I don't. You got to pry these from my cold, dead arms.
Okay.
Weird.
When you put it that way.
That sounds like fun.
Wait a minute. No. Please, no. Please do not do that to me.
All right. I won't twist your arm.
This guy.
All right, and welcome back.
Hey!
BMFcast.
BMFcast.
It's second half time.
Over here.
It is.
All right.
All right.
So, most of us failed to do any kind of homework this week.
I saw a movie in the theater.
There you go. The world's this is going crazy, man. I ain't seen nothing.
This is weird.
And you've seen a movie in the theater.
Yeah. And you have no Friday the 13th left to...
Nope. I've done them
Nothing.
all. But they haven't made it anymore.
No.
Except for the series.
Crazy.
No.
A series rewatch.
Don't do
or,
that.
Or watch for the first time.
Don't do that.
And what do you see in the theater?
I saw Sausage Party
Why? Why? How did that happen?
because my wife was dying to see it.
Ha!
It's basically South Park, except it's incredibly focused on religion. It is basically a movie about the existence of God and the reason religion exists.
Wait a minute. There's a hot dog bun
Yep.
with tits
Yep.
in this movie.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I fully believe that because there's a movie that has a hot dog bun with tits, there is no God, so I can accept that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. It's better and funnier than you think. It's saying more than you figured it would. It is definitely not Food Fight. So everyone who's like, oh, it's just Food Fight. It's like, no, Food Fight was utter bullshit. At least these people have a point to what they're doing.
Yeah, that was about Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is about
Hey, kids.
This is about something real,
But
like religion.
it's also, it highlighted something that I realized bothered, like why I didn't enjoy the South Park movie as much as most people. And why, like, what held this one back is every character swears off the bat. Like, every one of them, even the one who's supposed to be, like, super religious and all this stuff, is swearing all the time. And it obviously loses its power, but it also gives everyone in the movie almost the same voice. And it doesn't quite work. And I know I'm the one on this podcast who swears the most out of anybody. I totally accept what I'm saying here. But it doesn't work when certain characters, like, you know, when there's stuff near the end of the movie where they're like, let's go fucking get them, you know, and they'll have stuff like that. You've taken all the power away from it by swearing nonstop throughout the movie. And I know that's what they were going for with the whole raunchy thing, but...
Right.
Well, honestly, I mean, like, that's why I think one of the funniest, most enduring jokes to me in all of the South Park movie is when they stop swearing, when they're doing the checklist thing. And did you grab the butt for? What's the butt for? For pooping. You know, it's just like, because you've said all of these terrible words, suddenly poop is now the funniest word you can say.
Yeah. Yeah, but they don't... But they, like, any possible raunchy thing you can think of that would go into food being alive, they have thought of. And there's also perfect casting. I didn't know that he played a character called the Douche in Parks and Recreation, but Nick Kroll plays a literal douche in this movie, which to me is like the world's most perfect casting in the history of humanity, to have that fucking guy play a douche.
That character is amazing in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he is basically the bad guy of this movie, aside
imagine.
from humans.
Okay.
But yeah, it's apparently their philosophy was, you know, Toy Story, everything comes to life, and like, what do they think of humans like that? And they're like, what would happen if food did? That would be pretty fucked up, wouldn't it? And yeah, they go good places with the premise. It is much better than you're expecting, though the animation is kind of iffy at times.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the animation.
Well, yeah, I know it was like basically sweatshopped out. There was a lot of, you know, stuff that people were like, this was bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, I mean, there are scenes which do the thing I hate in when it's like, oh, the camera can go anywhere, and they start doing that shit, and it's like swooping between aisles and doing all this stuff, and it's like, that shit never looks good to me, and it never reads well because you have no sight line, and it's just just because you can move the camera doesn't mean you should. And they do a few of those things where it's just like, you've destroyed all geography in this scene by throwing me all over the place, and I don't know anything. But, you know, that's few and far between. But there's just a ton of voice actors I did not recognize at first. But it's better than you think it's going to be. Let's just put it that way. But we went with some of our neighbors who I think were appropriately horrified by the movie, and I told my wife, I'm like, this is going to be like really raunchy, like worse than South Park movie raunchy. She's like, I don't know. And it's like,
did she not watch the trailer at all?
She ever seen a Seth Rogen movie
Like,
before?
Yeah, that was kind of my thing. Is it's like,
the trailer kind of paints it as the most juvenile raunch for raunch sake thing that you could ever, like, if you put all of like 13-year-old us into one room and said, write a movie about food coming together or food coming alive and like make it rated R. That's what the trailer seems like to me. It's like what we would come up with.
And I think that's where they've done themselves a disservice, and it kind of they did with This Is the End as well, where it's just kind of like you actually have a message that is going somewhere, but you have undercut it so thoroughly with all of the kind of raunchy bullshit that you've piled on top of it just for the sake of it, that it makes it work less. You know, because I really like This Is the End, and, you know, and the message that they kind of try to get through there, but they still kind of, just getting through all their bullshit kind of hurts it. And this is the same way, though. Man, the Honey Mustard is played by Danny McBride, who goes to a home and then gets returned and has like lost his shit because basically they all think the afterlife is this wonderful place where you
wait after they're consumed.
They don't know that.
Oh, okay.
And that's
leaving
the point
store.
of the movie is like
I get it.
They don't know what happens, and he comes back and he knows what happens, and he's like, "Don't fucking touch me!" Like everyone's like trying to console him, and he's doing a Danny McBride like losing his shit freak out, and it's
like PTSD Jean Mustard.
kind of yeah.
Yep.
And there's also some like incredibly specific movie homages that are pretty much perfect. And that's all I'll say, because the way they hit in the movie, it's like, holy shit, you've got to be kidding me. And it's good. But yeah, like nobody expects a food orgy in a movie about the existence of God and religion.
Do they use the They Might Be Giants song about the bag of groceries?
No.
Okay.
I could told you no.
No.
Yeah. Keep hoping.
Yep.
Keep the dream alive.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to talk about this, but I just finished watching the entire run of Preacher, which those guys produced and directed and wrote and stuff like that. And first of all, it's an amazing show and should be watched and consumed by a lot of people. But it was interesting to me how much of the run of that show seemed to be promotion for Sausage Party.
Really?
Yeah, like no content in the show itself.
Oh,
but
all the commercials.
But like all the commercials, like all the breaks were sponsored by and all this stuff, and like they were constantly on the Chris Hardwick show. Amazing how it looks like it cost $400 million. I mean, like it has effects and it's doing cool shit, and you think $4 million these days is like a Fred Olin Ray Skinamax movie. No, this thing looks